When the void turned in the vast hush beyond the planets, where no sun warms and no world spins, something moved with intent. It did not drift like forgotten rock, nor did it trace the graceful arc of a comet. This motion carried purpose. And it was found not by a trillion-dollar array, but by an antique emissary, Voyager 2. Launched in the 1970s, running on hardware simpler than a wristwatch, this relic of another era has now recorded a phenomenon so strange that it has sent shock waves through the scientific community. Voyager did not log a random fluctuation. It logged a traveler, an object or phenomenon that moved, adjusted course, and modulated its emissions in ways that read like intention. What follows is the story of that detection, and why it might force us to rethink the quiet between the stars. The first Whisper Voyager's instruments are old-school, analog circuitry, enduring sensors designed for a very different epoch. Yet one such device, the plasma wave detector, picked up a faint, low-frequency pulse. At first it was easy to dismiss. Low-level noise is common. But the pulse evolved, irregular flickers, directional shifts, then a sustained motif of motion. Crucially, this came from beyond the heliopause, beyond the sun's bubble, in interstellar territory that is expected to be cold, sparse, and largely featureless. Imagine hearing a distinct voice in the middle of a silent desert. That is how startling this was. Teams ruled out the usual suspects: no asteroid belt, no cometary trail, no known gravitational disturbance. The trace behaved like a thing with agency, changing heading, altering frequency, and sometimes seeming to react when Voyager changed its own orientation. Response, not randomness. Deeper analysis sharpened the unease. When Voyager rotated or pinged, the readings adjusted as if in direct reply. The motion bore hallmarks we associate with sensing and reaction, not chaos. It resembled a probe scanning its surroundings more than a cloud of charged particles blown by random currents. And yet, the motion left no traditional wake. There was no detectable exhaust, no thermal plume, no radiation signature that would indicate conventional propulsion. Chemical rockets, solar sails, radioisotope drives, none fit what was observed. The object altered course without leaving the trail we would expect. Even stranger were the modulations in the signal. Bursts of energy separated by silences, then another burst with a tiny, deliberate variance. The pattern had structure, repeated cycles and offsets that hinted at information, not physics alone. In short, movement plus code. Natural intelligence or engineered design? As word spread in the scientific community, speculation followed. One camp sought terrestrial explanations: a novel plasma instability, an unusual magnetic vortex, some exotic known unknown of interstellar medium. Another, quieter camp entertained more radical ideas. What if this was artificial? Could Voyager have encountered a construct, an ancient device, a remnant of a civilization long vanished, or a probe so advanced its operation is indistinguishable from natural law? Might it be a stealthy sentinel, a surveillance node lurking at the edge of our neighborhood? Skeptics pushed back, and rightly so. Extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. But the data kept accumulating: course corrections, rhythmic transmissions, and, most unsettling, apparent feedback when observed. Echoes in the archives. Researchers did what good scientists do: checked other records. When Voyager's readings were compared to telemetry from New Horizons and archival anomalies from missions like Pioneer 10, an eerie pattern surfaced. Minor glitches, unexplained trajectory wobbles, and sensor oddities previously dismissed as random now lined up spatially and temporally. What were once footnotes in mission logs began to look like clues in a single, larger story. This raised a terrifying possibility. Whatever had been out there might have been shadowing us for years, skirting just outside detection until now, slowly revealing itself, or waiting for us to wander into its sensing field. the moment it stopped. On day 49 of continuous observation, the object performed an action that removed doubt for many watchers. It stopped. Not a gradual slowing, a deliberate halt, as if pausing to be studied. Over the next 17 hours it executed a series of fine maneuvers, tracing a tight spiral pattern that to engineers looked suspiciously like calibration. Then came a single, precise spike of low-frequency radiation, so clean it triggered one of Voyager's legacy protection routines. Voyager's antenna slewed in response, and the signal ceased. That sequence has led to a chilling interpretation. The object attempted communication, and Voyager, unwittingly, answered. Patterns in prime-time advanced signal processing returned another puzzle. Within the movement and signal timing were recurring clusters that matched prime number groupings, 3, 5, 7, and harmonic relationships consistent with deliberate encoding. These were not random statistical quirks, they were signatures of structure, of language at the most elemental level. When mathematics appears where only randomness should be, the implication is stark. Something sought to be noticed, or something was tracking and encoding information about what crossed its path. The gatekeeper hypothesis from these data arose, a provocative theory embraced by a growing number of researchers, the gatekeeper. Not a biological creature, not a spacecraft in any conventional sense, but a sentinel, a monitoring construct placed to oversee movement through a particular corridor of interstellar space. Think of it as a deep space customs post, passive unless disturbed, adaptive when engaged, capable of detection without revealing its own nature. The patterns, the pauses, the adaptive behavior fit this model. If true, the consequences are enormous. We may have been observed for far longer than we realized, and now we have tripped a sensor that has been waiting in silence. What it means, and what comes next. So what did Voyager 2 encounter? The safest answer is, we do not yet know. Competing explanations remain on the table: exotic plasma dynamics, unknown interactions of interstellar currents, or a novel state of matter. But the alternative possibility, that we have detected something engineered, purposeful, and watchful, cannot be easily dismissed. If this is a sentinel, questions multiply. Who designed it? How old is it? Has it been observing Earth specifically, or just monitoring the corridor through which we traveled? Does it evaluate or warn? Or does it do nothing but note passage? And perhaps the most urgent question, what do we do now? Continue to observe carefully. Coordinate cross-mission monitoring. Bring other observatories, radio, optical, X-ray, to bear. But also temper excitement with rigor. The data must be replicated, the noise ruled out, the models stress-tested. Closing. For decades we imagined Voyager as a lone bottle cast into a cosmic sea. Now it may be clear that the sea was not empty, that something was watching the bottle all along. Whether we have awakened a gatekeeper, detected a new natural phenomenon, or glimpsed technology beyond our ken, one thing is true. The silence between the stars has narrowed, and the universe has shifted from passive to responsive. If this unsettles you, it should. It should also excite you. We stand at the threshold of discovery. Voyager's simple instruments have once again reminded us that even small, enduring human artifacts can change how we see everything.